Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana Becker and I'm a psychic, and you are too. What is a psychic? A psychic is someone who basically uses logic, observation, and creativity to compile events in their mind to imagine what the future might look like. That's one version of what a psychic is. Another version of a psychic is somebody who just wakes up and just knows something. Which, when you practice the first thing I just said, you become the second thing. So, I'm not saying, woo-woo, I'm a psychic. I don't really know if it's a special ability or if it's just a combination of hard work and observation and using your head, using your brain a certain way. But I believe anybody can do it. So I kind of kid around with my followers in my club, the Call Girls Investment Club, and sometimes I tell them, oh, I time traveled to the future and I saw this was going to happen, or oh, I had a psychic vision that this was going to happen. And it could be a hunch, but it's hunches based on science or math. So I had a very interesting thing happen to me last month. I made $1 million off of, I didn't expect to make $1 million. I actually manifested this. I made a New Year's resolution that I wanted to make $1 million this year. And I made $500,000 trading Tesla options when they were steamrollering up, which most of my friends and fans or people who follow me are Tesla owners and kind of saw that. So you probably know what I'm talking about. And I have this club called the Call Girls Investment Club, which is my other channel, which I call the Call Girls because calls are a kind of option. It's when you're betting on a stock, you buy a call. When you're betting against the stock, you buy a put. So I called it the Call Girls Investment Club, and I had it for a couple years. I decided to make it a public club where anybody could join on Facebook. And I found out that if you make something called the Call Girls Investment Club public, you get a whole lot of messages from Facebook about improprieties and child pornography, and you get a whole bunch of solicitations from Thailand and other strange places which are bugging you. They want to see your call girls. So I made it private again. So it's only if people are my friend on Facebook, I can join them to the club. That explains why nobody can find it, because it's secret. It's a secret club, but it's not a secret. It's just a secret club. So I bet against the stock market because I foresaw a crash, and I actually warned everybody I could think of because I had been cheerleading for Tesla stock for months. Since October, I'd been cheerleading about how this is going up, buy options, learn how to trade options. And I gave all the reasoning. I have a lot of logical reasons why I felt Tesla stock was going to go up. And I went on a lot of social media clubs for Tesla and for Tesla fans and cheerleaded a lot of people who didn't normally trade stocks to get involved in Tesla stock. So I felt a sense of responsibility when I recognized that the stock market was in for a big crash. I'm not the only person who recognized this, I don't think. But I recognized it pretty early. I basically saw the news about the coronavirus and the numbers out of China. And being a logical person who loves math, I started a spreadsheet. I had a spreadsheet of the number of infections that they were reporting and the number of deaths they were reporting. And I noticed every day or two, they double. They kept doubling. You have a certain number of people sick and a certain number of people dead. Well, the sick people, some of those might be future dead people. So you have to extrapolate into the future. How many days does it take from the point they're diagnosed to the point where they're dead? And there were maybe 261 people infected and a certain number dead. And based on the numbers China was giving us, the number dead were about a third of the number of infected when you figure out how long it takes for them to progress through the disease and die. Basically, I got that information from a website that was saying what the gestation period of the disease was, how many days they would be in the hospital before they'd lapse into a really severe breathing episode where they had difficulty breathing, and then I estimated about 3 days to die. I made the time frame short between the severe lung disease and when they died because I wanted a conservative estimate. I don't know, I thought it was too perfect, the way the numbers kept coming in at a certain rate. So that caught my eyes. And then I started thinking, how dangerous is this? They were acting so terrified. So, I mean, everybody knows now, they acted terrified. So they did all these crazy things, like dragging people off and disappearing them into who knows where, locking them up to treat them or segregate them or whatever it was. Things that would not happen here. I just want to reiterate, this is the U.S. People behave like adults here, and we have rules and laws, and nobody would stand for that kind of treatment from our government. And no one needs to fear that here in America, in the U.S., because that's not going to happen here. People may be asked to behave like adults and stay away from other people, and if they don't, there may be repercussions, but nobody's going to like come in and like lock us up with other people with the virus. Hopefully. I'm not afraid of that. And I've already done all my gathering like 2 months ago. I got some masks, I got some glasses. This is before there was a shortage anywhere, not even in China. I got I usually have a first aid kit and backup food and things like that. And I didn't in my apartment because I had just moved, so I got all that stuff like 2 months ago. So I wasn't part of the problem with the hoarding. I just did my normal preparation. So I'm not afraid. And I checked out a cabin in the mountains, but I thought, I think I'm safer in my apartment. I have air cleaners, I have antiviral air cleaners, I have food, I have my pets and my family here, and we take precautions, and the apartment is a clean zone, so when we come in, we wash our hands when we walk in the door. So now we take these precautions as a family, and I'm not worried about the virus at all. So I'm noticing the numbers. And then I'm noticing the death rate, that would work out to about 20 to 33% of them dying. Don't be afraid, this is Chinese numbers, and we know they were behind the 8 ball. They were only testing people who were really sick, so they're skewed. But I saw it was very dangerous because I felt like that plus the other things and the way it was growing, it was going to become a world problem. And I watched the stock market go to record highs for 2 weeks. I started betting against the stock market and I got scared. I thought, what do I not know? How is this not, does everyone think they're immune? I didn't really get scared. I just thought, I can't believe these people are waiting until the news gets really bad, or else they just can't figure this stuff out. So I had led all of my girlfriends into buying, Tesla options, people who don't normally trade stocks. I actually made $500,000 trading Tesla options since October till whenever this was, January. And all these other people had followed along with me and felt this euphoria about, oh wow, I can make so much money trading options if I just buy calls and go put all my money in this. And people were saying, here, let me give you some money to trade for me. And I wouldn't do that, of course, because it's illegal. So I felt a responsibility to the people I had led down this garden path into investing, that I should warn them. So I got on social media and I tell all the groups that I'm involved in, where I have people, where I have friends, this is dangerous. This is a really bad virus. The numbers in China aren't adding up. This is going to cause a market crash. This is really serious. It's got a really high death rate as far as I can calculate from the Chinese numbers. And I just set out a warning. And I got so much hate from that. I got people in big bold letters saying, nobody pay attention to her. She's nobody. She's everyone should make their own decisions. And yeah, of course that's true, but I'm trying to warn my friends that I had advised previously, so I don't know how else to reach them. So I'm posting in these social media sites. So the administrator of one of the social media sites threatened to kick me off the social media site. She's like sending me private messages saying, if you ever post your shit again, you're out of here, and crap like that. And I'm just like, I'm trying to defend myself, so I'm like posting further on it, like, hey, this is Tesla relevant because I've told people to buy Tesla stock. And one of the things about Tesla is Elon Musk said he was not going to need to raise any money for Tesla. Tesla was a successful company. They're making money on every car they're selling. They have a huge Chinese gigafactory and a lot of demand, and it's, in a really good position, right? And he had just had his earnings report and said, we're not going to raise any money. We're not going to sell more stock. We don't need to. So 2 weeks later, and he has a really good relationship with the Chinese government. So 2 weeks later, he comes out and he says, and they decide they're going to release more stock. So that tells me, in my deduction, scientifically, in my psychic vibe, it tells me Elon Musk changed his mind because he sees the coronavirus is pretty bad. He knows he's going to need money because this is going to be a long fight. He knows that this is going to be possibly devastating to stock prices or to lending firms for him to have access. He's going to make his company survive a longer time. But also, I feel like he probably wanted to tell people, hey, this is really bad. I think he probably knew. He's got that factory in China. But you can't come out and say that if you're trying to be friends with the Chinese government and not make them lose face when they're all saying, oh, this is not a big deal, it's okay, it's under control. So what do? So that's a signal he can give to other people, is just raising the money is showing, maybe this is really not so cut and dried. So I saw that. I saw a lot of indicators, a lot of factors, and I tried to warn everyone. And people were accusing me of fear-mongering for my own personal gain. Which I don't know how I would have something to gain by telling people, get out of the market, protect your assets, but I just got accused of so many things. And I'm kind of a sensitive person. I try to stay sensitive because being sensitive helps you to pick up all this information that you need to make good judgments for the stock market, or to be psychic. So I'm trying to be open to things, and these people are just hammering me with this criticism. So I said what I said, and I just went off those sites. But one of the administrators had said, hey lady, if you want to talk about stocks, you should talk about stocks in your own group and tell everybody they can come join you there. She said, you're free to tell them about your website. So go ahead and post something about that. But otherwise, stay off our website with your political comments. So basically, talking about the coronavirus is a political comment. So I went ahead and posted a invitation to the members of the social media group that I was most friendly with, that I was most connected with. I had been in this social media group since its inception. I was one of the first couple hundred people in it. And I was one of the first owners of a Tesla Model X. I've got a signature Model X, and I'm like one of the first people that, they named this group Tesla, and I had Tesla Chick. At the same time, we were naming our companies together, or our groups, or whatever. So I post this invitation to my Call Girls Investment Club, and this other administrator writes me a nasty note. How dare you publicize your group? You're trying to, take people out of our group. That's inappropriate. And it was just drama. I don't need that. I'm just trying to help people. So I just kind of wanted to say that to somebody, because people are like, oh, well, just don't go to that group anymore. But that's a lot of my friends are in that group, and I just can't bear to look at it anymore because it was just so traumatic to be attacked like that for bringing the bad news. Well, here's the thing. And I think a lot of people who are insightful or psychic or whatever keep their mouths shut about a lot of things, because you get attacked if you're the messenger. So anyway, I don't know if I'm out of time here. I think I am. So in my next episode, I will tell exactly how I made $1 million trading options during the decline in the market. But needless to say, I made a bet against the market, and it went obviously way down. And I even wrote back to the woman on social media, do you understand now why I posted that? And she just said, if you give me any more of your shit, you're out of here. So yeah, that was a difficult week. But the second week was so great when I made $1 million that it made up for it.